Welcome to the district. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Natalie Hall. The district is the place to keep you updated, informed, and inspired regarding everything Fulton County District 4. Immediately following this short break, we will have the pleasure of hearing from Patrina King, founder of Golf Women Mean Business Foundation, John Reed, Managing Vice President of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Consultant Practice, and Tiffany Farrell, Vice President of Operations for Atlanta Gas Light Company and Chattanooga Gas Company. They are here to discuss the ways they've used their experience to support the Golf Women Mean Business mission. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the district. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Natalie Hall. Joining us today is Patrina King, founder of Golf Women Mean Business Foundation, John Reed, Managing Vice President of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Consultant Practice, and Tiffany Farrell, Vice President of Operations for Atlanta Gas Light Company and Chattanooga Gas Company. They are here to discuss ways they've used their experience to support the Golf Women Mean Business mission. Patrina King is an award-winning golfer, entrepreneur, youth advocate, author of 9 Holes, 9 Goals, A Beginner's Guide to Doing Business on the Course, and a children's book titled My Dad and Me on the Tee. Although she had a number of opportunities to play collegiate golf, she decided to focus on a career instead. Patrina studied technical management with a concentration in human resources at DeVry University and studied human resources at Keller Graduate School of Management. She became a human resources professional and owned and operated a pre-employment screening company located in Metro Atlanta, Georgia. As she developed her knowledge for business ownership, she also educated youth on how their actions could impact their futures. Patrina's interest in women's rights, education, human resources, and business gave her the perfect foundation to launch Golf Women Mean Business. As the founder, she would execute her passion for educating professional women and children on how to use golf for business and humanizing golf for those who are hesitant to try. And John Reed is a certified diversity executive who graduated from Cornell University and professional transformation leader with over 35 years of experience, both as a management consultant and executive industry leader. John used his expertise with diversity, equity, and inclusion to help Golf Women Mean Business advance their mission. And we have Tiffany Farrell, who received her chemical engineering degree from Vanderbilt University, and she earned a Master of Business Administration at Robinson School of Business. Tiffany was a member of the 2005 inaugural Lead Atlanta class and Leadership Macon 2010 and Leadership DeKalb 2013. She currently serves on the Atlanta Business League Board of Directors and is an officer on the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, Metropolitan Atlanta Chapter Board of Directors. She has a passion for businesses geared towards serving minorities, and she is using her experience to help Golf Women Mean Business provide programs for the youth. Golf Women Mean Business is the leading authority in business golf. They go beyond awareness and enjoyment by educating and equipping professionals to leverage golf to further career and organizational goals. And thank you all for joining us. How are you doing, Patrina, John, and Tiffany?
Doing well. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And
Yep.
All right, and Patrina, so tell us what inspired you to want to teach golf to youth?
It really started with taking a step back and looking at my own story and how golf influenced me in my life. I did not like golf as a kid, and that's because my father, it was him and his friends. There were no other kids around. It was just me and adults. So it wasn't fun for me, but I enjoy spending time with my father. And so golf was just something we did. And then so starting Golf Women Mean Business and working with the women, I figured, taking a step back, looking at what I was missing as a kid, I decided to create the same type of safe space for youth to learn and enjoy golf as well.
So, how did you get the youth in the community interested in wanting to learn how to play golf?
It was interesting. I would start with schools. I would go into middle schools and elementary schools and talk to them about golf. And of course, when I mention golf, I get the size, this is boring because it's not something that, it's not really promoted widely. And so, I'll talk about it. And of course, the kids if they know anything about golf, it's either their parents or on TV. And so, they saw me I wanted to make sure they saw some type of representation of what they look like. And then I would have golf games. And although, at first they're a little hesitant, just kind of want to go through the motions because again, it's golf, nothing fun, but they turn competitive very quickly because we made those games very fun for them. And so, at that point, it went from there. So it's actually pretty fun. I go in and I start and get the oohs and ahs out of the way and then show them that golf can be fun.
And so, what inspired you to write the book, My Dad and Me on the Tee?
It was really 100% ensuring representation. My dad and I, we integrated the course where we're from. We were the first Black people to play on the course. And it was a situation where I spent a lot of time with my father there and we got to really bond. And I wanted other kids, especially kids of color, Black kids, to see that and not necessarily strive for it because kids can only do what their parents let them, but to let them know you don't have to be 35 years old before you get into golf. There are kids your age out there also playing. So I wanted to give people really insight of what my dad and I did on the golf course on Saturday mornings and hopefully inspire other men to do it with their daughters. I mean, mothers too, that's important, but really the fathers and their daughters, I think that's a great bond that I really feel I wanted to promote with the book.
And so, how does your background relate to Golf Women Mean Business?
So in high school, it was a bunch of scholarships, about 36 scholarship offers, but I preferred connection over competition. So of course, I didn't take any of those scholarships, but I did start my first company, which was the background investigations company. And even with that, I was doing training and development with youth. I was explaining to them, as you mentioned earlier, how background checks will affect, their social media activity will affect their background checks, their college applications and job applications or whatever. So training and development was always a part of what I like to do. It's just a very sweet spot for me. And so doing it with Golf Women Mean Business was just a very easy transition. So it really came from there.
Wow, your story is so enlightening, and I can see why the youth would be interested in golf just by knowing your background in golf and your experience through your dad and everything.
Mhm.
And so, Tiffany, you have a lot of experience working with different communities and business organizations. How has your experience benefited the Golf Women Mean Business mission?
Well, thank you so much, Commissioner Hall. And I think it has helped a lot. Just meeting Patrina, of course, her personality is infectious, but really understanding. We took a workshop the first time I met her through my company at that time, and we learned about golf. So we talked about different terms that if you had not had experience on the golf course, it really helped you. So when you showed up to different tournaments and in corporate America, I think that's one of the things that happens a lot. There are a lot of golf tournaments because we want to help the community. We want to support the community. And so being a woman executive in the energy sector, which is primarily male dominated, it was really helpful to have taken a course from Patrina, to have learned those things. And what that translated into is as I'm on the golf course, building relationships, feeling very comfortable, very confident that I was supposed to be there.
Wow, that is awesome. And that's an awesome collaboration. And you said earlier, Patrina, about you wanted connectivity instead of competition. And so this relationship between Tiffany and you and your organization is what I call collaboration over competition.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. Patrina, John, and Tiffany, thank you. Let's take a break. And when we return, we will continue our discussion with Patrina, John, and Tiffany. You don't want to miss it. We will be right back. Welcome back to the district. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Natalie Hall. We are joined by Patrina King, founder of Golf Women Mean Business Foundation, John Reed, Managing Vice President of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Consultant Practice, and Tiffany Farrell, Vice President of Operations for Atlanta Gas Light Company and Chattanooga Gas Company. They are here to discuss ways they've used their experience to support the Golf Women Mean Business mission. Patrina, John, and Tiffany, thank you again for joining us. I want to start off by asking a question to John. John, how has your experience helped Golf Women Mean Business with programs for the community?
So once again, thanks, Commissioner Hall, for inviting me here. One of the things that I do is always talk about things in a diverse light. Like organizations, successful organizations are built on two things: their diverse culture and being an inclusive environment. Golf has always been traditionally left out, meaning that underrepresented people or organizations have not had access to golf. So when I met Patrina, one of the things I wanted to do was integrate that diversity, equity, and inclusion term and terminology and effect into what she's doing with Golf Women. A lot of times we didn't have access to communities or environments where we were allowed in. Patrina's been making an avenue where now not only women, but also individuals, youths, people of color have access to something that we didn't have traditional access to. So what I've been doing is helping Golf Women Mean Business get into those organizations, into those hallways, into those boardrooms where we didn't have access before.
All right, thank you, John. And Patrina, can you give me an example of the way you've seen your organization make a difference?
For the most part, it's visibility, representation, for youth and the community as a whole. It's giving youth the opportunity to know that golf is attainable. It's not something, and it's not only for the people that they see on television. I've had parents call me in a jokingly way, kind of fussing at me because their kids may have been at one of my classes or workshops in the school, and now all they want to do is play golf, talk about golf. And a lot of the times the parents don't even know anything about golf. So the kids have been exposed, the parents hadn't been exposed yet. So, there's that little dynamic that happens at home. And these kids are between the ages of 5 and 12. So it's planting a seed for them to know that it's attainable. And I also getting calls from Chicago, people that have purchased my book. And this one guy, he has 2 kids, 2 girls. And he just wanted to thank me so much out of the blue. He didn't think he would get me on the phone, but he wanted to thank me for giving his girls some representation, something to look to that is not available not widely available. So ultimately, it's representation from an organization that's not put together just to check a box. A lot of organizations have to check those boxes, and this is just what we do.
This is awesome because you're just offering an opportunity for youth to see something totally different from what they may experience in their life. And, I believe that if we just show our kids something successful and our people doing things successfully, that it will help them see a different pathway in life, even if they're going through, a different, a bad lifestyle, or if they live in a bad neighborhood, just to see people that are doing something worthwhile will help them. And that's what I see you doing, Patrina. I really appreciate that. So between the three of you, Patrina, John, and Tiffany, why do you think golf isn't as popular as other sports? You know, we have Tiger Woods with golf, but it's still not as popular as other sports, like with Serena and Venus Williams, and how they have made tennis such a big deal, and so many other sports, basketball. So why do you think that it hasn't caught on?
I'll answer that first. Access and affordability, those two things. Golf has traditionally been a sport which means that you have to have access or money or know someone to be able to even play golf. A good round of golf sometimes could cost you $100, $120 a round. Sometimes we have underrepresented organizations don't have that money to actually go and play golf. And then once again, access. We were excluded from golf courses in the past. With the advent of Tiger, he started making it popular. And then the media and all these firms started saying, hey, listen, now let's tap into this different market. So it wasn't popular in the past. Tiger made it more popular. But now, how do we get that popularity to have it where anybody can have access? Anybody can go to a country club community and anybody can play. So I think the pendulum is on an upward curve in terms of the popularity of golf.
That's good to hear. And Patrina or Tiffany, would you like to weigh in on this as well?
Yes, this is Tiffany, Commissioner Hall, and I'll weigh in the fact of, and I agree with everything John has said. I think also it is about understanding the value of it. Many times parents will encourage their children to do sports where they think you could be a professional football player. You see a lot of students and kids in football leagues, or you could be a professional basketball player. Golf, it's harder to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you look at the size of the purses of golf events, they're huge. So I think that just the way that tennis courts were not everywhere, originally before the Williams sisters came, I think that now is the time, and what the Golf Women Business Foundation is doing, this is the time to make that access and affordability there. And what I also see is there are a lot of other organizations happening right here in Metro Atlanta, including, just tons of First Tee, for example. My son is 24 and he did First Tee, exposing him to golf. And they offer those for students who don't have a lot of money. The Boys and Girls Clubs are now introducing golf programs. So I suspect that if we continue and the Golf Women Business Foundation continues their work, that we will begin to see golf, just like tennis and other sports, begin to become very commonplace for our children and give them the access on and off the course that they need.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll add to that. Jonathan and Tiffany said it perfectly. And one thing that I would add is kids don't get to see golfers at their basic level. They only really see them at the perfect level, which is, again, back on television. They don't see the bad shots. They don't see the practice and, all the things that come with working up to perfection. So a lot of times, even adults, not even kids, you think you have to go on the course and be perfect. But there's a long road to that. And I don't think kids can kind of make the connection between the start and the perfection that they see. So that in between is missing for them, unless they do programs and get into other little camps and things like that. So that's one of the things that I think.
Well, between the three of you, what I have gathered is that we most definitely have to make it easily accessible for the youth to be able to get to golf, because it is expensive. And John is right about that. The cost can be prohibitive, but we also need to support organizations like Golf Women Mean Business to ensure that they have all the resources they need to be available to the youth. And so, Patrina, do you feel that the mission of the Golf Women Mean Business is supported overall?
I absolutely do. Our mission, we support the underprivileged, underserved, and the ambitious. That's kind of our thing. People that the kids or the young adults that they may have been introduced to it, but may can't sustain it because of the money that comes with it. So we support them as a foundation. And, golf people know, the significance of youth needing to at least be introduced to golf. Golf brings access. You get to meet people. It builds character, especially honesty and things like that. So I think the notion of, kids needing to play golf and youth and young adults needing to be sustained is definitely supported. We just got to get to those people who support them.
And one thing that I don't hear people say enough about golf is that it builds physical endurance. It helps you be more healthy, because one of the things I remember is the first time when I joined Golf Women Mean Business and I walked those 9 holes, I thought I had a full day's workout after that. And some of the women were like, I'm not going the full distance. They gave up and they didn't walk the full distance. So I know it really does build physical endurance and it makes you more healthy. It's good to be out there on the green, getting that fresh air around all those trees and, de-stress and everything. So I want to make sure that people know about that part about it, because, with Fulton County being mandated by the state to provide health and human services, and I was once that executive sponsor of the strategic priority area called All People Are Healthy. I want to promote the health of everything that you do. And so, Patrina, do you have any examples of ways that you've seen your organization make a big difference or a significant difference of some kind?
Well, yeah, like I was saying, the exposure for sure is the biggest. We had actually at your event on last weekend, there was a military guy who stood in front of our table and cried because he had never seen Black women in golf ever.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was
Really?
interesting. So I
At the
really,
Joan Garner Walk and Health Fair?
at the Joan Garner Walk, yes, my team was there. Well, the board was there. I wasn't there, but that was the feedback I got from them. So yeah, and I mean, and I am stressing representation for a reason. It is a big thing. Like if nothing else, and plus, yes, when it comes to health, you can burn 1,000 calories walking 1 round of golf. You can. Now you have to walk the whole thing, no cart.
Oh,
But yes, it was at your event that we had that. So representation, if nothing else, it makes a huge difference in youth and adults, really.
that's awesome. And what are some of the services that you offer directly to youth through Golf Women Mean Business?
Yes, so we have summer camp. So our summer camps include some business stuff. We don't really go too deep in business because it'll put the kids to sleep. But we do, cover some financial stuff. We want to start planting those seeds as well, because as we all have agreed here today, golf is not cheap. And so even though we can provide access to it now, it is something that they want to probably continue, hopefully. And so we want them to have their finances together and things like that. And then for the young adults, we offer scholarships. So that if they are in college now on golf teams, we offer scholarships to them to help with their finances and all the fees and prices and things that come with being a college golfer. So between those two, and then we do like events at schools, like small events where we make it fun. We'll give out the books, like sometimes the schools will buy the books and then we'll go read to them. And then there's a doll, for the young kids to at least wake up every day and see a person of color with a golf club in her hand. That is the idea there. So yeah, that's what we do.
That is great, Patrina. So share with our viewers how they can contact you and learn more about your organization, Golf Women Mean Business. Are your phone number? Do you have a website? Are you on social media?
All the above. So we have Golf Women Mean golfwomenmeanbusiness.com/foundation. That's where our scholarship application and everything that we do on the foundation side of things is. And then golfwomenmeanbusiness.com in general, that's our more for the adult side where we do workshops and things for adults, team building and stuff like that. My phone number is 678-861-4183. And then my email is PK, it's long, PK@golfwomenmeanbusiness.com.
Thank you so much, Patrina King, John Reed, and Tiffany Farrell. Thank you for taking the time to share your stories and the work that you're doing with Golf Women Mean Business. When we return, I will share my closing thoughts. Welcome back to the district. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Natalie Hall. I want to thank our guest, Patrina King, founder of Golf Women Mean Business Foundation, John Reed, Managing Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Consultant Practice, and Tiffany Farrell, Vice President of Operations for Atlanta Gaslight Company and Chattanooga Gas Company, for talking with us about Golf Women Mean Business and what they're doing for our community. Golf Women Mean Business is the leading authority in business golf. They go beyond awareness and enjoyment by educating and equipping professionals to leverage golf to further career and organizational goals. What makes Golf Women Mean Business special is that they serve the needs of career and business professionals by providing professional networking opportunities and advancing the participation of women in business golf through the facilitation of workshops. 100% of their participants and members are professionals. Over 80% of their members and clients touch a golf club for the first time with Golf Women Mean Business. We discussed with Patrina, John, and Tiffany the inspiration behind the children's book, My Dad and Me on the Tee, which tells Patrina's life story of how her father influenced her in golf, and how Golf Women Mean Business encourages youth to be interested in golf and the importance of creating networking opportunities for women. With the help of John and Tiffany, Patrina is doing what many would say is hard work, but I call it heart work. That's our show for today. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at FulcoD4. That's FULCOD4. I'm your Fulton County Commissioner of District 4, Natalie Hall, and thank you for watching the district.